What's up, DBs? Coach D Magic here, former D1 defensive back in the University of Hawaii. We're going to break down some Kerby Joseph film. He currently is tied with Xavier McKinney for the most interceptions in the NFL. I already did a breakdown on Xavier McKinney. I'll put that link in the description. So we're going to break down 3 plays, a man play, 2 zone plays. And these coverages, these techniques are fairly simple. So I want to break it down in a way that no matter what type of coverage you're running, if it's the same, if it's in the same realm, you know, whole coverage is whole coverage, quarters is quarters kind of thing, you can immediately take this information and apply it to whatever you're running. Because I don't want to confuse you with trying to know the complexity of an NFL scheme, because a lot of times it's the same thing that you're running, just again, a lot more complex. My coach used to say football is a simple game complicated by man. So right now we are playing man on the goal line. What I tell my guys is, hey, you want to tightrope this goal line. This goal line is the cliff. You want to shuffle along this goal line. You do not want to give ground here, because they're going to break their routes before the goal line. And if they don't break their route before the goal line, you know it's some type of back line or some type of route towards the back line. So we have number 3 here. We have to be at different levels so we don't get picked. Okay, so he's going to press the point. That's normal. It looks like he's about a yard or 2 in front of the goal line, and then we're going to work over the top, because number 3 usually works out this way. You see all this traffic. Imagine him, this little receiver, trying to work through here, through here, through here to run a route. It's usually one of these guys who's going to switch and go. So you got to be ready to work over the top to play number 3 if he goes outside. So shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. We work over the pick. He breaks the route off right at the goal line or right before the goal line, like I said, and we do a good job of getting to the hip. All right. Working with the angle, because this isn't really a corner. He's trying to flatten that away from us. So we get to the hip. We work under the hip, and then we do a good job of making a play. Simple concept, right? Everyone plays man on the goal line. Everyone's going to play the bunch. So if you're at number 3, if you're guarding number 3, different levels, shuffle, 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 get to the hip, and then good underneath. So in this play, what I want to get you guys to understand is like 3 concepts of the way I was taught to play underneath zone. Or not underneath zone, whole coverage, I'm sorry. Or just zone in general, all right? So he's a free player. So 3 things. If we're going to focus on number 86, he's number 2, technically, the number 2 receiver. If something is leaving, something is coming back. If something is low, something is high. If something is in front of us, something is behind us. And then also, when you get deeper into it, whenever 2 voids, you know, this area or leaves this area, you see how much, imagine this, 2 leaves this area, and then imagine if 1 runs a corner that way. You see how literally all of this space is open? So that wouldn't really be a good route concept down here, right? Because you're literally, you have no routes in the middle of the field whatsoever. If he goes away and he goes away, it's just all this space. So when 2 voids, right, usually you're going to get 1 working back in behind it in some type of dig. So if you could just remember one of those sayings, something's low, something's high, something goes, something's coming. 2 voids, you know, 1's usually going to replace that void. All right. So he just does a good job. He eyeballs the receivers, 2's away. All right, we're going to mirror. If the quarterback's looking this way, obviously that means something's possibly coming back that way. All right, so we're just going to shuffle, shuffle, stay in his vision. All right, he brings it back this way. We understand that 1 is potentially behind us, so he does a good job of getting depth as soon as the quarterback sets, working back and making a play on the ball. All right, so regardless of what coverage he's in, if you just remember one of those things, you'll be able to make more plays in your zones, in your whole coverages. In this last play, this is just quarters, guys. Stubby, everybody runs stubby. What's stubby? All right, we're going to lock number 1. We're going to play kind of a cover 2 here. with this nickel, but the nickel has to be ready to carry number 2 vertically. All right, so you can run it a lot of different ways, but the concept here is that the nickel has to carry number 2 vertical. The linebacker is going to post inside of number 3 to 10 yards. Now, as a safety, you can either match 3 vertical or you can play like a true quarters. I'm from the match world, so the linebacker is going to post inside to 10 yards. So if 3 bends and you don't already have your backside safety working towards 3 on some type of poach or solo call, we got to take them. So nickel takes 2 vertical, we take 3 vertically while keeping our eyes on the quarterbacks, and we're going to match it. Quarterback sees this void in the middle of the field too high, he's going to try to work that zone, and we do a good job making a play on the ball. So these are all simple techniques. The coverages might not be simple, but the technique is simple, and I'm sure you guys are running a lot of these coverages at your local high school or even in college. And if you're not, this is a great way for you to already have exposure to these coverages and techniques, so when it is your time to play, you're already ahead of the game.